We're live.
Okay, thank you. So welcome everybody to this meeting of the Aberdeenshire Licensing Board. Please note the board meeting is being live streamed and will be recorded and published online for public viewing after the meeting. Can members activate their cameras where possible to enable you to join by video, and can all attendees mute their microphones when not speaking? Please do not come in during items unless I invite you to do so. Let's bring my papers back. They've disappeared off the side of the page. There we go. Can I confirm that all members have been able to access the papers for today's meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And if members wish to speak at any point, raise your hand in the Teams meeting, or if you've dialed in, raise your hand by pressing *5, but we're all on Teams. The IT support today is Alex Mayer, so you can contact him by a separate Teams message during the meeting if you need any assistance. Can I ask Deputy Clerk please to take the sederunt?
Thank you, Chair. If you can indicate that you're present when I call your name. Ms Dawn Black?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr Jeff Crowson?
Present.
No.
Sorry, who's speaking at the moment?
Sorry, I understood black clothes.
Could you?
For black.
No, I asked for Miss Dawn Black. If you could keep your phone on or your Teams on mute at the moment, Miss Source. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'll start again. Miss Dawn Black.
Apologies, I'm having technical issues this morning, but yes, I'm here at the moment.
Yeah. Mr Jeff Crowson.
Still present.
Still present, thank you. Mrs Marion Ewanson.
Present.
Mr Jeff Goodall.
Present.
Mr Trevor Mason.
Present.
Mr Richard Maynard.
Good morning. Present.
Mrs Jenny Nichol.
Present.
I have apologies from Miss Tracy Smith, Miss Mel Sullivan.
Here.
Mr Ian Taylor.
Good morning, I'm here.
Thank you. Convener, I have apologies from Sergeant John Webster and PC Kevin Skivington of Police Scotland, but PC James Stewart is here. Also from the Licensing Standards Officers, apologies from Keith Simpson and Lisa Gadini, but Kevin MacDonald and Sarah Ward are present. On live stream, we have Jenny Mearns, and we also have our new paralegal, Gillian Scott, observing in the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. We now move on to declaration of members' interests. Members, please state if you have an interest to declare, and if you have, please clarify by giving the item number, the nature of the declaration, and whether or not you will leave the meeting. Mr Goodall, please.
Forgive me, Chair, but I've lost the note of the Vale.
It's item 8.
Item 8. Just a transparency statement. A long time ago, that the hotel was a member of a Old Meldrum Business Group and had association with that through being their chair, but I've no real contact with them. So it's just a transparency statement, and I shall stay in the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I see no other indications. So we will move on to the equalities resolution. So do members agree that in making decisions on the reports to adhere to our legal duty to eliminate discrimination, harassment and victimisation, advance equality of opportunity between those who share a protected characteristic and persons who do not share it, and to foster good relations between those who share a protected characteristic and persons who do not share it? Do members agree?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. We then move on to the minute of the previous meeting held on the 25th of February 2026. That's being considered for approval as a correct record. Can we agree?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Thank you. So then we move on to our first item today, which is applications for premises or provisional premises licence which are non-contentious. So I shall hand over to the Deputy Clerk, Fiona Stewart, to take us through the applications.
Thank you, Convener. The first application is for a premises licence for Bridge of Dysteding, Strawn Bankery. Excuse me. The applicant is seeking to trade from 10 till 10, 6 days a week. The premises are located in the quiet rural area of Strawn and is surrounded by commercial self-catering units. All alcohol is kept in a locked alcohol store and serves the business's holiday accommodation. Alcohol is to be sold by off-sales only and delivered to or collected by guests. Premises will be closed on the 25th and 26th of December and on the 1st of January. Online sales will also be available, but again, this is primarily for guests with no sales to members of the public. No comments were made by any of the consultees in relation to the application. The applicant has agreed to the local conditions as set out in the report, and there are no specific conditions recommended. The confirmation certificate regarding display of the site notice has been submitted, and the officer recommendation is to grant the application subject to the agreed local conditions. Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, shouldn't have put myself on mute. Thank you, Fiona. Do the board wish to discuss the content of the report or ask any questions? No. So in terms of the recommendation at 1.2a, does the board have sufficient evidence to allow a determination to be made?
Yes.
Yes.
And in that case, in the terms of recommendation 1.2b, having determined that there is sufficient evidence, should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted.
Granted. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The second application is a provisional premises licence application for Twistillery Limited, Kenley of Melrose Gamery. The applicant is seeking to trade 10 till 10 Sundays through to Fridays and 10 till 3 on Saturdays. Premises are located in a rural area of Gamery, equidistant from Macduff and Gardenston, and are accessed via a single track road. The premises is primarily used for the production of gin and beer, with the packaging and dispatch of online sales. Limited off-sales availability from the premises will be made on Saturdays during core hours in conjunction with tours of the premises. Online sales will be available during core hours with dispatch out with that to the public via Royal Mail. There will be no direct delivery to members of the public. Collection can only be made at the premises on Saturdays. All alcohol is to be kept in locked storage at all times. There will be tours of the premises on Saturdays lasting approximately 90 minutes, with taster sessions at the end to aid purchase decisions. The Licensing Standards Officer made representations in relation to the operating plan as set out in the report. The applicant has recently submitted amended documentation in response to this representation. The applicant has also accepted the local conditions referred to in the report and has submitted the certificate of confirmation relating to the site notice. There are no specific conditions. In this case, officers are recommending that the application be granted in principle, subject to approval of the amended documents by the Licensing Standards Officer. We're not too far off agreement, and rather than wait till the June board, we're asking for the grant in principle to allow us to move this on more quickly. If we can't reach that approval, the application will be brought back to the June board for further determination.
Okay, thank you. I think that's quite straightforward. Members, do you have any comments or questions? Okay, so in terms of the first recommendation, 1.2a, does the board have sufficient evidence to allow a determination to be made?
Yes.
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 And in terms of recommendation 1.2b, having determined that there is sufficient evidence, should the application be granted or refused? And bear in mind that's granted in principle.
Granted in principle,
Granted
yes.
in principle. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we then move on to item 5, which are the applications for major variations of premises licenses, which are again non-contentious. There's quite a list here. 6 are from the same applicant, so but we are going to have to look at them all, but we'll have a sort of overview maybe first. Over to you, Fiona, please.
Thank you, Kavira. The first is for Tesco's in Ellen, and quite a few of today's applications are for different Tesco stores. In general, the only differences will be the occupant capacity in terms of the alcohol display in metre square. The general changes are the same across all stores. So I'll introduce it for the first one and perhaps focus on the alcohol capacity for each individual one moving forward. So the application seeks to amend the activities taking place out with core hours on the operating plan, varying the capacity of the premises, and in relation to the Ellen store, it's to reduce the capacity slightly, varying the layout plan to correct a discrepancy relating to the alcohol capacity and to reflect sundry changes to the internal layout of the store relating to new checkouts and aisle reconfiguration and an amendment of the description of the premises. No representations have been made. Confirmation certificate for the site notice has been submitted and the applicant has accepted the proposed local conditions. There are no specific conditions and the application is recommended to be granted subject to the conditions as set out in the report.
Okay, thank you. So that's the first one only. So any questions or comments? So we'll go straight to the recommendations then. First recommendation, do the board have sufficient evidence to allow a determination to be made?
Yes.
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 And in that case, should it be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted. Okay. Right, we'll try and move on to the second one.
Thank you, Chair. The second one is for the Tesco store at West Hill. Exactly the same application, except that the capacity is increasing slightly as set out within the report from 252.73 metre square to 254.77 metre square. Everything else is the same as the previous application. No representations, certificate lodged and conditions agreed to.
Okay, thank you. So it's just the wording there where it says reduction, varying the layout plan to reflect the reduction in off-sale capacity, but it's actually increasing, but very slightly. So any questions from members? No. So in that case, do we agree that we've had sufficient information upon which to base our determination?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So can the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted.
Granted. Okay.
Thank you. The next one is for Tesco's Huntly. Exactly the same, and this one is a reduction in capacity from 190.34 metre square to 190.32 metre square. And again, certificate of compliance is in, conditions agreed to.
Okay. Any questions or comments? So do we have sufficient information?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted.
Okay, so that one's granted too. Move on to number 4.
This is the Tesco's at Newton Hill, and there is a slight increase in capacity this time rather than a reduction from 78.51 metre square to 78.584 metre square. Again, exactly the same as the previous applications, Chair.
Okay. Any questions, members? No. So again, can we just confirm that we've had sufficient information?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in terms of the second recommendation, should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted. Okay.
Thank you. Next application is for Tesco's at Hill of Bankery. Exactly the same, but there is a slight increase in the capacity from 263.07 metre square to 264.688 metre square. Again, exactly the same as the other applications.
Okay. So no questions. I'll just watch for hands. Do we agree we've had sufficient information?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And In that case, should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Right.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
the last one, number 6.
The last one is for Tesco's at Stonehaven, and again it's a slight increase in capacity from 24.55 metre square to 24.613 metre square, and again everything else is the same as the previous applications.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any indications for questions or comments, so can we agree with the sufficient information?
Yes.
Yeah. And in that case, should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted.
Granted. So that one's granted as well. And then we move on to number 7, the bridge bar. Fiona, please.
And my apologies, this has been duplicated in the report, so we'll deal with it now and ignore it when it comes up the second time. So my apologies, I don't know why that's happened. So this is for the bridge bar in Ellen, and the application seeks to add indoor-outdoor sports as an activity to be provided during core hours, and has amended the layout plans to reflect the addition of a pool table within the lounge area. No representations have been made. The certificate of compliance has been submitted, and the applicant has agreed to the recommended local conditions as set out in the report. So officers are therefore recommending the application be granted with the local conditions as set out before you.
Okay, any questions? No.
No.
So have we had sufficient information?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in that case, should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted.
Okay. So
Thank
that
you.
takes us to number 8.
So the New Inn Hotel at Aberdeenshire, the application is seeking to add outdoor drinking to the operating plan, and the information in section 5 of the operating plan has been updated to reflect activities taking place within core hours and out with core hours. Service accommodation is being added to the operating plan, and the access for children and young persons has been amended to reflect the change in activities and the addition of the outside drinking area. Building standards offered an advisory regarding a building warrant, and the licensing standards officer made representations as set out in the report. The applicant has lodged amended documents which are subject to the approval of the licensing standards officer. Confirmation certificates have been submitted, and the applicant has accepted the proposed local conditions with there being no specific conditions recommended in this case. Again, because the LSO has not yet agreed the wording of the operating plan, and further slight tweaks may be required for activities taking place out with core hours, we're recommending the board grant this in principle, subject to agreement of the amended documents by the LSO and subject to the conditions as set out in the report. We're very close to having this as an agreed set of documents.
Okay, any questions or comments? No, I did just notice, but I think it's covered in the conditions on page 53. Children and young persons are allowed access, including the beer garden, but it doesn't mention for the consumption of food, but that would be in the local condition.
That's correct. It's covered in the local condition.
Okay, so have we got sufficient information?
Yes.
Yes.
In that case, can the application be granted or refused?
Granted in
Granted.
principle,
In
subject
principle.
to
Granted in principle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And skipping over the second bridge, Bar Ellen, it takes us to the central filling station in Fife Street in Turriff, which has recently been taken over by new licence holders. And in this case, the application seeks to extend the core hours to 2200 7 days a week from 8 p.m. 7 days a week. They're adding recorded music as an activity, and they're also adding food to go and parcel collection, along with a slight reduction in the alcohol capacity at the premises. Again, Building Standards put forward an advisory in relation to the application, and the LSO made representations regarding site notice, after which the site notice was redisplayed at the premises. The confirmation certificate has been submitted and the applicant has accepted the proposed local conditions. There are no specific conditions, and officers are recommending the application be granted subject to the conditions as set out in the report. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions or comments? No. So are we satisfied we've received sufficient information?
Yes.
Yes.
And in that case, under the second recommendation, should the application be granted or refused?
Granted.
Granted.
Granted for that one. Okay. Thank you. So that takes us to the end of those applications. We now move on to the first hearing, which is item 6 on the agenda, which is an application for major variation of premises licence, and this one is for the Tesco store at Fraserburgh. So we have people to be admitted into the meeting, but I think they're actually here. So we've got Ms. Purwall on behalf of Tesco in the meeting, and the Licensing Standards Officer, Sarah Ward. I'll just go to you both to confirm that you're there. So obviously you were in at the beginning, so you know the meeting's being recorded and published online. So can I just confirm that the applicant or agent, and I think it is Ms. Purwall, the agent, is present? Can you just confirm, please?
Yes, I'm here. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Are you satisfied that you've received all the relevant information and feel able to participate in the determination of the application?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then can I confirm that Sarah Ward, the Licensing Standards Officer, is present in the meeting, just in case we have any questions? Yeah. And are you satisfied you've received all the relevant information and feel able to participate in the determination of the application?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So in line with the guidance you've received in the public participant meeting protocol for licensing board hearings, please can you mute your microphone when not speaking, if your phone permits this, but you're both on Teams. Please do not speak unless I invite you to do so, and please do not interrupt the other speakers. If you do, you may be removed from the meeting. Once you've been asked to make concluding remarks, you're then not entitled to speak again unless to answer a question from a board member. Then once the board has made its decision, you will be asked to leave the meeting. If the board requires to adjourn to deliberate the application, the recording of the meeting will be paused. The board will retire to a separate online meeting room. Please wait in the main meeting room until the board members return and I can resume the meeting. At that point, the recording of the meeting will be restarted. So I'll now go to the Deputy Clerk, please, to introduce the report and confirm the procedure for the hearing.
Thank you, Convener. This is another Tesco store, and the applicant is making exactly the same changes to the licence as those outlined in the non-contentious applications, and this is set out at section 2.2 of the report before you. And there are two reasons the application is before you at a hearing for consideration. The first is that the applicant is seeking to increase the alcohol capacity at the premises very slightly from 254.182 metres square to 254.574 metres square, and the premises are located in the town of Fraserburgh, which the board has found to be over-provided in relation to off-sale premises, as highlighted in the representation made by the LSO. The second is a query by the applicant's agent in relation to the addition of conditions 45 and 46, which apply as the premises are located within the town of Fraserburgh, which is the subject of a bylaw prohibiting the consumption of alcohol in public. Taking the second matter first, it may be that condition 45 need not be applied as the premises relates to off sales rather than on sales, and therefore the premises does not necessarily have to have a defined boundary for the purposes of the bylaw, there being no consumption of alcohol within the premises, but condition 46 should be applied. Officers can only attach agreed local conditions to a licence. Any waiver or amendment to the terms of the conditions is a matter for the board to determine today. In relation to the over-provision policy, the terms of the board's policy creates a rebuttable presumption against the grant of new premises licence or the increase in alcohol capacities to existing licences by way of major variation. And this means that the applicant requires to provide the board with robust and reliable evidence that the grant of the application with an increased capacity would not undermine the licensing objectives, or that the benefits in granting the application outweigh the alcohol-related harms outlined in the board's policy, sufficient to allow the board to determine whether a departure to the over-provision policy is justified in this case. The board's report includes a summary of the statistical information relating to the over-provision policy, which starts at section 3.11 of the report, and I can advise that the proposed increase in capacity has had no impact, positive or negative, on the statistics already identified by the board. All other parts of the application are non-contentious, and the majority of local conditions have been agreed to. So the officer's recommendation is to grant those other parts of the application and hear the applicant regarding the bylaw condition and the increase in capacity, and determine if conditions need to be waived or amended and whether the increased capacity should be granted. The procedure today is as set out in Appendix 7, and that's to hear the applicant's agent, to hear the LSO. The applicant's agent then has a right of response. The board members may then ask questions of all parties. Then you can hear concluding remarks in reverse order, the LSO first and finally the applicant's agent, before moving to reach a decision. Thank you, Convener.
Okay, thank you. So I'll go first of all then to the applicant's agent, Ms. Purwall, please, to outline the terms of the application, and you might want to address the representation lodged while doing so.
Good morning. So by the way of introduction, I've worked for Tesco's for 32 years and head up licensing within the legal team. And so my role includes everything from making sure training is done for all of our 300,000 employees around age-restricted sales. And I also chair Retail Alcohol Standards Group, which looks at best practice in how we sell alcohol as an industry. So this application is a major variation as set out in the application. And if I just deal with the increased capacity, as you've heard with all of our I guess non-contentious ones, we've been remeasuring, and the reason why there's a slight increase in capacity is the shelving and the measurements we were given. So historically the middle aisles that we have been 26.6 times 2.2, and the new measurement is now 26.66. So that's where it's a more accurate measurement of what's kind of historically gone on, and that's why there's been so many changes. Happy to kind of, so there is, I guess there's no real increase as such, as that capacity has always been there. It's just around how it was measured. In terms of the bylaw condition, absolutely happy to kind of add that in as a condition. The whoosh operation that we have, the online operation that we have in the store, or that we'll be looking to put into the store, is a part of our whoosh operation. I don't know whether you actually want to hear any more about that, because the other licenses have been granted on the information that you've had, so I can talk through it if you want, or if there's any questions around it. But I guess I just wanted to address the two issues that had come up, rather than ramble on about some other processes we have.
No, I think that'll be fine. I think you've addressed the issues.
Okay, I guess then that's fine. If there's no information that you want about the whoosh application, then that's, I guess, all I have to say about this application.
Okay, thank you. Members, do you have any questions? Maybe somebody actually does want to hear about this. No questions from members? Mr. Mason, please.
Yeah, I'll just ask
So what you're saying is there's going to be no more alcohol displayed in the area. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. It's just how the mods have been measured. So it was a 0.6 out, but sorry, 0.06 out. So it was measured under 2.6. And actually, when we re-looked at everything, just on the plans that we were given, that it's the measurements.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I still need to hear from Sarah Ward, the LSO, but Jeff, Mr. Goodall.
Just for clarity, sometimes we hear that you need this extra bit for Christmas sales, etc. I wasn't sure if that was the case here.
No, this is purely in our kind of middle aisles and the measurement of the mods and the information that it's just because we've had that extra decimal bit on. So now that we have that plan, we've just got different measurements, and that was in all of some of the reductions you've heard in our previous cases and the increases as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll go now to Sarah Ward, the Licensing Standards Officer.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, as confirmed by the clerk, this application must be considered by the board as the licensing board's policy reflects over provision of sales within Fraserburgh, as the application reflects a slight increase in capacity as aforementioned. Therefore, this policy is for the licensing board to determine for the licensing board to determine this application before being granted. As per my report, I recommended local conditions and note no objections or anything further to add.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Purwell, do you want to add anything at this point?
No, thank you.
Okay. Do members have any more questions for either party? No. So in that case, we'll just go to closing remarks. So first of all, to Sarah.
Nothing further to add, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to add anything, Ms. Purwell?
No, nothing to add, thank you.
Okay. Do board members require any legal advice from the clerk?
No.
No. So in that case, can I ask the Deputy Clerk to outline the terms of the legal test for the application?
Thank you, Chair. I will just find the relevant page. But what I would say is that the majority of the application is non-contentious and can be agreed. The board is just focusing on the increase in capacity and the local conditions, which it narrows down the grounds of refusal quite considerably for the board. I wish some of our appendices were shorter when I'm trying to find
193. 193.
Yeah, getting there. So in terms of the legal test, you're looking at the grounds of refusal, which are that the application must be refused under certain sections of the Act, and I advise this does not apply in this case, that the licensing board considers that the granting of the application would otherwise be inconsistent with one or more of the licensing objectives. You should consider that in line with the over-provision policy. See that having regard to the nature of the activities, location, character, condition, and the persons likely to frequent, the board considers the premises are unsuitable. Again, I would argue there's no evidence before the board to engage that ground of refusal. The main one is D, that the board considers that if the application were to be granted, there would as a result be over provision of licensed premises or licensed premises of the same or similar description as the subject premises, taking into account the proposed variation in the locality. So it's not what's already in place, it's the increase that you're being asked to consider, and also the terms of the local conditions which you wish to apply should you determine to grant. So the main ground of refusal that would be applicable, but only to the increase in capacity. The existing capacity is already on the licence, so you can't reduce. It's just the increase is ground of refusal D in relation to over provision, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So I'll now open to members for debate. Ms. Black, please.
Yeah, thanks very much. For me, it looks like this is essentially just a technicality, as it's been explained. You know, they've just gone through a remeasuring exercise, and it's just shown up that there is a little bit more capacity than was previously thought because of the addition of that decimal place within the measurements. So it's on a technicality that there is this marginal increase. It's not actually they're not putting any more shelves in or anything like that. They're not actually displaying more. So I'd be minded that, you know, we allow this, and on the conditions, I think Ms. Purwell has said that they accept the conditions. So that is all good as far as I can see.
Okay. It would just be the one to do with the bylaws that condition 45 maybe isn't appropriate.
Yeah, which is fair, which is fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Nicholl, please.
Thanks, convener. Yeah, I'm entirely similar minded. I'm content to grant the application. I think the departure is acceptable from our over provision policy. I think the increase in capacity is very, very small as well when we consider it. It's just a case of shelving changing. So I don't believe this would undermine the licensing objectives. Because I don't think it's going to increase alcohol in the area. I think it is just something to do with the floor plan. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Goodall, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just concur with Ms. Black and Nicholl. I won't bore everyone with repeating what they've said, but yeah, I totally agree. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Menard, please.
Yes, I am in agreement. I think with the rest of my colleagues here. The only thing is the outdoor drinking bylaw. I would like to see that kept in, basically, because it's the car park area and everything else in Fraserburgh. That is an open area, and I think that should be applied in some way.
There's no on sales, though. It's just off sales.
Yeah, but the way I read it, it's still a bylaw for not drinking out in an outside area. Does the car park come into that as well in regards to a licensed premises? I'm not sure. That's just a question.
Fiona's got her hand up. We'll go there.
The car park is not covered by the licence, so it would just be the boundary of the building that's licensed, but there's no on sales consumption. It's just to define what's a licensed premises, so that, because if you're licensed, you're exempt from the bylaw, so that the car park would not be covered anyway, because it's not part of the licence as it stands. It's just a car park. So anybody drinking in the car park that's caught by Police Scotland would be committing an offence. So there's no need to have condition 45, the first one, attached to this licence, because there's no on sale consumption within the building. It's off sales only. But the second condition about the display of the notice advising people of the existence of the bylaw would be applicable. And it's something the premises should already be doing anyway. So they're notifying members of the public that if they take alcohol into the car park and decide to consume it, they're doing so at their own risk, basically.
Thank you for that, Fiona. That's clarified it. Yeah, I'm happy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I don't see any further indications. So can board members just confirm you've received sufficient evidence upon which to make a decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think we need a motion here. I feel there's a consensus. Do we agree to grant the application, realising that it is a departure from our over provision policy? and that they could dispense with condition 45.
Agreed.
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 Agreed? Yep. Okay.
Thank you. So this application has been granted. You'll receive your written notification within the next 7 days, and the licence will follow on from that in due course. But please don't leave the meeting, because you're up again for the next premises. So in this case, please stay in the meeting. Thank you, convener.
Okay, thank you. So we now move on to item 7. Lots of Tesco's today. This is Tesco Inverurie. And again, it's a hearing. It's an application for a major variation of the premises licence. This comes before us today because Inverurie is not yet an area of over provision, but there is a watching brief. So I'll just hand over to Fiona to go through the application.
Thank you, Chair. Just to advise the board that it was Lisa Gadini that lodged the representation in this case. She's not available today, so Sarah Ward will be acting on her behalf. I'm not going to go over all the same thing that I've gone over before. In this case, it's slightly easier. You don't have any bylaw in Inverurie, so the sole reason that this application is before you is because of the slight increase in capacity. And the watching brief means that where a premises has an existing capacity above the Aberdeenshire average of 34.4 metres square and is seeking to increase that further, and that applies in this case, then the rebuttable presumption exists in the policy for the applicant to demonstrate that a departure to policy is justified in the case. Again, I can confirm that we've reviewed the statistics and there is no impact, positive or negative, but should the board decide to grant this as a departure to policy. And the procedure is exactly the same as before. Here the applicant's agent, here the LSO. The applicant's agent has a right of response, questions to all parties, concluding remarks in reverse order, finishing with the applicant's agent before moving to a decision. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So I won't need to go through all the lines because we've already been through one with the same people. So we can obviously confirm the agent is here. And you've received sufficient information. Do you feel able to participate in the determination of the application?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And can I confirm Sarah Ward is here? I can see her on the screen.
To confirm, I think Kevin's going to take this one.
Kevin's
yeah,
going to take it.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Kevin. Yeah, cheers.
My
Right,
apologies.
so-
Mixed messages, Kevin. Sorry.
So we have Kevin MacDonald, Licensing Standards Officer, with us.
And
So-
yes, I have the information.
Okay.
Thank you.
I won't need to read out the statement about online meetings because we've done that already and we're all here. So I'll go to the Deputy Clerk, please, just to outline the terms of the application and confirm the procedure.
I've already done that.
Kind of done
convener.
that, yeah. So I'll go to Ms. Purwell if you just want to outline the terms of the application, and you might want to just address the representation lodged while doing so, which is obviously the watch and brief on over provision.
Yes, thank you. So this is one where, as it was pointed out earlier by Councillor Goodall, it is for Christmas. So we want to increase the capacity to include 3 mods, where currently we've got soft drinks at the moment, and that's the plan is to have soft drinks on there all year round, apart from at seasonal time. So that will be definitely at Christmas and then maybe at Easter, depending on demand, so that we can increase the capacity of some of the products within the aisle, because it'll kind of spill over to the other side. There's also what we're removing a ladder rack, and we want to put a stack in there. And a stack is, you may have seen, like for example, the boxes of Baileys, so the larger that can kind of, it just makes our operation easier, that they can be wheeled onto the shop floor rather than pulling each one out and putting it on a shelf. So they're the changes that we're proposing to support with Christmas. And like I said, at the moment and we're just planning to have soft drinks on there. And that's the key change, because I think everything else around our whoosh operation and there are no issues with that.
Okay, thank you. I'll go to Kevin then. Do you want to speak to the representation?
Hello, hello board. Sorry, I'll keep this very brief. I think all the information's already been covered. It's been brought to the board's attention because of the watching brief in Inverurie and the slight increase in the capacity of the alcohol sales. Lisa Godini has not raised any concerns or objections to the application, but also highlights there's an error in the application's operating plan submitted, I think, with the previous manager's name in error as opposed to the current manager's name. If this could be corrected, Lisa's requested the standard list of conditions to be applied if it's granted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to add anything, Ms. Purwall?
Yeah, apologies. I didn't cover that. Yes, because we did these applications in bulk at the time, and I think there was a window of about 5 days or something between them coming in, and the change kind of happened in the background. But the DPS it's corrected. Sorry, the DPM has been corrected.
Okay, thank you. So I now invite board members to ask any questions of either party if you've got questions. I don't see any indications. I've just got one. You spoke about the area that you want to add on that would normally have soft drinks on it, but you would have the capacity to be able to put alcohol on it at times like Christmas. Where in the store would you have alcohol-free products? Would they be in the same sort of area as the alcohol aisle?
Yeah, so all of our low and no, as we call them, they're in the license space. I know they don't always need to be, but we do treat them as alcohol products because they're very much for an adult market. So they still have all of the age restrictions on the checkout. So you still need to prove that you're over 18 to be able to buy them. So we follow the Think 25 policy for them. So they're actually in the aisle. Embedded in the aisle. I think they're next to the wine chiller in this store.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Mr. Mason, please.
Yes, can I ask Kevin MacDonald? There's a larger increase in this application. It's about 8.5 square meters. Would this put us very close to the over provision for Inverurie at all, or are we still safe with that?
I think I'm better placed to answer that than Kevin.
Right.
As it indicated in my introduction to the report, Mr. Mason, we've looked at the increase and we've analysed the statistics, and it is neither positive nor negative, so it does not put us any closer to there being over provision in Inverurie on this application.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions? No. So in that case, Kevin, do you have anything you wish to say in closing?
No, nothing further, thank you.
Okay, and I'll go to Ms. Purwall. If you have anything you wish to add?
No, nothing further, thank you.
Okay. Do board members require any legal advice from the clerk? No.
No.
So again, Fiona, if you could just outline the terms of the legal test, please.
This is at page 345. I've prepared in advance this time, and it's exactly the same as before. So you'd be looking at focusing on ground D, that the board considers if the application were to be granted, there would as a result be over provision of licensed premises or licensed premises of the same or similar description as the subject premises, taking account of the variation in the locality. So really it's all about that increase because they've already got the existing capacity. So that's what you're focusing on. Everything else in this application has been agreed and is non-contentious and can be granted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So do members wish to retire to deliberate? I wouldn't think so. No.
No.
So I can open the matter for debate. Mr. Goodall, please.
My only concern was the over provision, but we seem to have satisfied that. I have a slight concern that although stated that this will be used for Christmas and Easter, it could still be used 365 days of the year. But other than that, I don't see any issues with this application.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Nichol, please.
Thanks. Yeah, similarly minded. I'm content to grant this one as well. I think it is, whilst there is the slight increase, it is still slight. It is still and probably an end of an aisle. I don't think that it would have any issue with increasing capacity to the sense I would be concerned. So yeah, I'm content with this one too.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Black, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm content also. The fact that it doesn't change the statistics for our over provision policy puts me in mind to grant this one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I just confirm with members that you've received sufficient evidence upon which to make a decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so can I suggest that we also grant this application?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grant.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Ms. Purwell, for attending today. You must have had a busy time of it. That's quite a list of applications.
Thank you for bearing with us with all of these as well. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I can confirm that this hearing has now concluded, and thank you for your interest in this business. And I will now ask you to leave the meeting. So are we okay to keep going? We'll not do a break yet. So we'll go on to item 8, which is a request for extension to closure of licensed premises, and it's a hearing, and it's for the Vale Hotel in Fyvie. Officer taking the report again is Fiona Stewart, and the licence holder, Roddy Blacklaws, I think is present, as is the premises manager, Ms. Suarez. I think they're in the meeting already.
If they could put their camera on and their microphone just now. There they are.
Oh, I can see you. Okay.
Okay.
So please note that the board meeting will be recorded and published online for public viewing after the meeting. So we'll just confirm then that Mr. Blacklaws is in the meeting. We can see them on the Teams screen.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Yeah. Are you satisfied you've received the relevant information and feel able to participate in the determination of the application?
Yes.
You need to
Okay.
speak up a bit, please, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Thank you.
So in line with the guidance you've received in the public participant meeting protocol for licensing board hearings, please can you mute your microphone when not speaking? Well, it's not a phone, so it doesn't matter. Please do not speak unless I invite you to do so, and please do not interrupt other speakers. If you do, you may be removed from the meeting. Once you've been asked to make concluding remarks, you're not entitled to speak again unless to answer a question from a board member. Once the board has made its decision, you will be asked to leave the meeting. If the board requires to adjourn to deliberate the application, the recording of the meeting will be paused and the board will retire to a separate online meeting room. Please wait in the main meeting until the board returns and I can resume the meeting. At that point, the recording will be restarted. I'll ask the Deputy Clerk now to introduce the report and confirm the procedure for the hearing.
Thank you, Convener. The Vale Hotel is currently the subject of premises licence ABN P188 and is in the name of Mr. Roderick Blacklaws. The premises closed and ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol around the 26th of November 2024. This was established by Mr Blacklaws on a visit to the premises by the Licensing Standards Officer on the 10th of December 2024, after which the LSO highlighted to Mr Blacklaws the terms of the board's policy in relation to closure of premises for a period of more than 4 months and what he required to do if closure of the premises extended beyond the 4-month period. This information was again given to the premises to Mr Blacklaws on the 7th of March 2026 by Sarah Ward, the Licensing Standards Officer, at which point the period of closure was approaching the 4-month period set out in the board's policy. A request for an extension to closure was lodged on the 16th of March 2025, the reasons given being health and family issues, the visit from the LSO to the premises and the potential sale of the premises, with negotiations underway and the potential for the purchaser requiring time to refurbish the premises prior to reopening. An extension was granted until 31st of October 2025. On 30th September 2025, Sarah Ward added a note to the premises file confirming there was a sale agreement under discussion, that the annual fee had been paid, but that a further extension would be required to allow the sale to go through to the end of February, at which time the licence holder would be moving abroad. The note to the file was followed by a second request for extension to closure of the premises, where Mr Blacklaws put forward more or less the information that Sarah had contained in her file note, reiterating the sale was moving forward, refurbishment would be required, and that he was moving abroad after the sale, but was continuing to reside in the premises while the sale was proceeding. At that point, a further extension to closure was granted until the end of March 2026. Mr Blacklaw submitted a third request for extension to closure on the 16th of March, citing the same reasons as given on his second request. Following consultation with the board convener, I declined to exercise my delegated powers to grant the third extension, bringing the matter before the board for consideration, given that the premises has now ceased to sell alcohol for a period of approximately 17 months, which is well beyond the 4 months set out in the board's policy. It was agreed with Mr Blacklaw that the premises would remain closed until today's date. The terms of the board's policy is as set out in section 3.11 of the board report. Mr Blacklaw is present via Teams and Sarah Ward is also present in case the board have any questions to ask of her. So the procedure to follow is to hear Mr Blacklaw's reasons why a further request should be granted and to determine whether or not a further extension is to be granted. If a further extension is not to be granted, the licence will cease to have effect under section 28(5)(b) of the Act, and any purchaser buying the premises would require to apply for a new provisional premises or premises licence moving forward. Thank you, Convener.
Okay, thank you. So now I can ask Mr Blacklaw, please, to respond to the report.
We are in a situation that the buyer's solicitor is holding up the sale. You have received a letter from our solicitor who states that the sale is ongoing, and we are in a catch-22 situation at the moment. We could ourselves do up the hotel, but the buyer has said that he wishes to do the work. So therefore we have, for the last 17 months, sat and done nothing. As I say, it's a catch-22 situation. The person who is buying the hotel has had some family matters that have held things up as well. So at the moment, we are in the hands of the solicitors.
Okay, thank you. So board members, have you got any questions to ask? So that can be for Mr Blacklaws or the LSO if required. No questions? Mr. Taylor, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Blacklaw. Your situation has been continuing for some time. Are you likely to continue with the proposed sale, or how long are you prepared to continue, given the uncertain response that you seem to be getting from the proposed buyer? Is that going to be a factor in any future decisions?
No, the proposed buyer has, we spoke to him 2 weeks ago, and he said he is still ongoing. It just seems to be that he is having a problem with his solicitor. Now, we cannot find out what the problem is, but he has spoken to us directly and said that he still wishes the sale to go ahead. So, as I say, so we are in the catch-22 situation. He has stated that he will be doing the hotel up. So therefore, it's pointless us doing any work on it if he is going to be upgrading it to what he wishes.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes. If I can come back with a supplementary, does the sale require and the availability of an ongoing license?
Well, it would help if he had the ongoing license, because he is planning, he is an ex-chef, and he has plans, which he has told us about, to bring people to the area. 5E itself has never expanded in the last 20, 30 years. So the prospect of the hotel staying open is what we would like to happen.
Okay, I see Fiona Stewart wants to come in. Fiona?
Just to advise board members that while the sale agreement between the two parties may require a licence to be in place, the board has legal tests to apply today, and that there's nothing to prevent a purchaser in terms of delay of time or anything from applying for their own licence for the works. And given the fact that the premises is still to be refurbished, and the existing licence holders can't say for certain when the sale and or the refurbishment will take place, and the premises have already been closed for 17 months. That takes us into further unknown territory. So the fact that the sale mentions an ongoing licence is a bit of a red herring. That is a civil matter between those two parties under the contract. You've got to apply the legal test before you to the existing licence, and there's nothing in law that would prevent any purchaser from coming in with a new licence in the future for the premises. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Menard, please.
Yeah, it's just for the applicant there. You say the place needs refurbishment. Is there any time scale as to how much refurbishment is it needed? Is it a light touch, or is it a total strip down and refurbish inside and out?
Well, he reckoned that it would take about 3 months to refurbish. The only reason that we would like to continue the license as well is that if the consequences happen that he does pull out of the sale, then we would still have the license and we would go ahead and do the refurbishment.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I just ask, obviously this deal is taking a long time. When was it sort of first evident that you did have a buyer?
It was evident before we shut down. I'd already spoken to him back in November of that year, and that's why we had agreed in principle and a handshake that the sale would go ahead. We had arranged a deal, and as I say, it is only because of family matters on his behalf and the solicitors holding the sale up, his solicitor, that we are still in this catch-22 situation.
Okay, so that's gone on since November 2024.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Crowson, please.
Thanks, Chair. I just wondered if we could get legal to maybe clarify something. A pub or a hotel, if it doesn't have a license, but it would still be classed as a hotel or a pub, would it, until it applied for change of use?
In terms of licensing, there's no such thing as a hotel or a pub anymore as a premises license, but that is still a category under planning law. So in terms of planning, it would still meet the specific, I want to say use class order, but I might be wrong on that. It would still be classed as a hotel under planning law for the purpose of any potential sale. But in licensing law, different types of license went out when the 2005 Act came in, and it's just, it will have a premises license or it will not have a premises license.
And if this license was to cease to exist today, then either the future purchaser or the existing holders could reapply for it?
Yes, from scratch. Particularly given there's going to be a period of refurbishment. If I were advising either party, it would be to do the refurbishment, apply for a provisional premises license and have that confirmed when the work is complete. But I'm not their legal advisor. That would be my advice to the board today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I just ask, in terms of the building, it's obviously licensed, it's got a kitchen, presumably, for food. Are there residents? Do you have accommodation?
Yes, we have. It is a hotel, but obviously we are not doing any work at the moment because we are shut down. We have 5 bedrooms which were going to be done up, but because of this sale, we haven't done any work at all. But as I say, if the sale does fall through, then we would like to do the work, but keep the license as well, because it will save a lot of paperwork in the future. And if the board wishes to keep premises open, then that is why we would like to keep the license.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions from anybody? I just wanted to ask the licensing standards officer about the degree of refurbishment and the time that it, I don't know if you can answer that actually, Sarah, whether 3 months would be sufficient. I'm getting the feeling it might take longer. Most things do.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I'm not in a place to confirm how long refurbishment would take place. It depends on contractors and the amount of work and investment that any license holder or incoming license holder would wish to spend on the premises. But the premises are closed, and there is an agreement between ourselves that there'll be a further inspection to be undertaken by myself and Environmental Health prior to the premises reopening. And that was agreed back in December 24.
Okay. Thank you. So I don't see any further questions. Mr. Blackloss, do you wish to say anything in closing?
The one thing I'm saying is we would like to keep the license because, as I say, if the sale does fall through, then we would go ahead and do the work ourselves. and also the fact that if you want to keep the premises in 5E open, then it makes it easier for an incoming buyer.
Okay, thank you. Do board members require any legal advice from the clerk at this stage? No, I don't see any indications. Will the Deputy Clerk then please outline the terms of the legal test for this application?
Thank you, Convener. In terms of the board's policy, what the board has to decide today is whether they're prepared to grant a further extension to closure, bearing in mind that the policy indicates a period of 4 months and it's now been almost 17 months. If you do, what period of further extension are you going to grant? If you grant a further extension, that will keep the licence alive until the date of expiry of that extension. If you opt not to grant an extension today, then in terms of the legal test set out at page 383 of the report appendix 2, the licence would cease to have effect on the basis of section 28(5)(b) of the Act, and that the premises in respect of which the licence was issued has ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol for approximately 17 months. So you either determine there's sufficient information before you to justify a further extension, determine what period that extension should take, or that you do not grant a further extension, in which case the existing licence ceases to have effect under section 28(5)(b) of the Act. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Fiona. Do members wish to retire to deliberate?
No.
No, we're okay to carry on then. So in that case, I'll open the matter to members for debate. Mr. Crowson, please.
Thanks, Chair. Having listened to all the reasoning in that and the advice given from legal, I think we went way past the point of the conditions of the closure of licence. And it's speaking about a catch-22 situation, I think that for the licence to cease to exist would actually make a clear indication. So I'm just looking for the right words. For the future buyer to apply for a new licence after there's been the renovations, which may actually involve some changes to the layout plan. And equally, if the sale wasn't to go through and there was renovations done, to apply for a new licence, in my opinion, I think would be the best route to go.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mason, please.
Yeah, it seems we've got a choice of either extending it one last time or just leaving it to expire just now. I think I'm in between those two things at the moment. I don't know how everybody else feels.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, please.
Thank you. My feeling is in terms that there hasn't been much movement, and if an extension was offered, there still wouldn't be much movement. And the suggestion from our legal officer is that a reapplication could be made once refurbishments have been completed, either by the present owner or by a purchaser, and therefore it's refusal to extend this is where I'm thinking about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Menard, please.
I'm likewise minded that I think they've had plenty of time to get this done and dusted. I can't find any justification whatsoever to give them an extension. In my mind, I think we should close it down and revoke the license, the premises license. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So before we make a decision, can I just confirm with members that you've received sufficient evidence? Oh, hands up, Mr. Goodall.
Yeah, I've listened to our conversations and the discussion at the moment, and I have some sympathy with Richard and Ian regarding closing this down, but I do appreciate that the applicants are in a bit of a cliff stick, and it appears from nothing that they have done themselves has created this. So I'm thinking along the lines of one more extension, and after that the license would have to be revoked. But
Okay. Can I just step in there to get members to confirm they've received sufficient information, because we seem to be going into determination. Can you just confirm?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I want to come back in with a point.
Yeah, Mr. Crowson, please.
It was just on the back of what other councillors have said that would I be right in thinking that the wording that closed this down isn't necessarily appropriate, because the place is closed at the moment. I have sympathy with anyone who think they've got a sale and it takes a bit longer. I actually see that this might be beneficial to the situation, and that's where my reasoning's coming from. Thank you.
Yeah, just to make it clear, what we're looking at is the legal test for has the licence ceased to have effect. So it's not a case of closing the premises or revoking a licence. It's just has the licence ceased to have effect is the issue that we have to look at. So I would agree with Councillor Taylor, I think, as well, when he said that if we did go to another extension, probably nothing would happen in that time, or there'd be little progress, and we'd be back here again looking for another extension, or holding up the legal test again, whether or not it ceased to have effect. I think the time that's passed, I think it can be fairly said that the licence has ceased to have effect. November 2024 is quite some time ago. A new buyer coming in, refurbishments, could be changes to the layout plan, there could be some major variations, there's going to be paperwork regardless. I think it would be a fresh start for a new buyer to have a provisional and then a new premises licence. So that's where I would be veering. I would be willing to make that a motion, actually, that the licence has ceased to have effect under section 28(5)(b) of the Act. I seek a seconder. Mr. Menard.
I would gladly second that motion. Thank you.
Can I just clarify that with that motion that you're not prepared to grant a further extension under the board's policy, therefore, in terms of section 28(5)(b), you deem the licence has ceased to have effect because it's not been used for the sale of alcohol for the past 17 months.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Is there an amendment, Mr. Taylor?
No, no amendment. I was just going to second your motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Goodall, were you wanting to make an amendment? You had a different view.
yes, I would make an amendment in that we should give them one further extension. The wording would have to be tested by Fiona to see that it's competent, but I would say that the license isn't, how could I put it, invalid at the moment, and it should be extended for another cycle.
Can you give a time period?
When's our next meeting?
June, end of
24th of June.
June. That would be fine.
And would you want that brought straight back to the board rather than for myself to go through the convener again?
I would be content not to be brought back to the board. It can be done through delegated powers to yourself.
Is there a seconder for that amendment? Ms Nicholl?
Yeah, I'll second it. I think I'm hearing what everyone is saying. I think we would need to see that progression. And I mean, I don't know if we will or we won't, but I would be keen to see if we get there by giving it one cycle.
Okay, that's just a matter of weeks. What about 7? Must be about 8 weeks. Mr. Mason? You're on mute.
Yes, I would second the amendment, but Jenny's already done that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, sorry.
Okay, so are there any further amendments? Ms Black?
Sorry, I'm minded to go with the amendment to see if you know, this threat of the license being taken away will actually spur the buyers on to progress. But I do think that 8 weeks is probably not enough time. The June board is not enough time. I would suggest that the full 4 months that we allow under policy and come back to the following board.
So that would be a second amendment to allow, that would be till August, September. When is the board? August?
I mean, again, I
4
would be
months.
content for it to be delegated. It wouldn't necessarily need to come back to the board, and but I don't know that 8 weeks is long enough.
That would be to the 26th of August, convener.
26th of August.
And that is definitely enough time. And then if there's no progress, then we look again and choose to revoke. Not revoke, but it ceases to have effect then.
So I'll go back to the first amendment. Mr. Goodall, would you be happy with that different time scale?
Yes, that's why I put my hand up. I'd be quite content with that time scale that Don's proposed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So in that case, the amendment would still be with yourself. And if Jenny, if you're in agreement with that time scale, are you still
I'm in
happy to
agreement.
second?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm happy to second. I'm agreement.
Okay, Mr. Mason.
I actually thought, sorry. Yeah, I actually thought that the short time period might put some pressure on the buyers if they're going to buy it. And if they're not, well, that's it, really. But I'll go along with what's been proposed anyway. Thank you. Or rather, the amendment, sorry.
The amendment. Okay. So I've got a motion and an amendment, and they've both been seconded.
Can I clarify who seconded the motion, please, because I didn't catch it?
Oh, who seconded the motion was Mr. Menard, was it?
Yeah, I second
it. Thank you.
Okay, so in that case, summing up, go to the amendment first. Mr. Goodall.
The amendment is basically to allow the applicant to finalise their legal matters. Other than that, there's not much more I can say. It's just to give them a little bit extra time, and hopefully it'll move things along and come to a successful conclusion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And for the motion, I'll just sum up by saying that I think a lot of time has passed, and there's been very little movement. The licence has obviously ceased to have effect, in my opinion, and I think it would be better for a new, if there is a new buyer coming in, that they start afresh with a new licence. Can I ask the Deputy Clerk please to confirm the motion and amendment before we go to the vote?
Thank you, Chair. The motion is with Mrs. Ewanson, seconded by Mr. Maynard. not to grant a further extension, in which case the licence is deemed to have ceased to have effect under section 28(5)(b) of the Act, in that the premises has not been used for the sale of alcohol for almost 17 months. And the amendment is with Mr Goodall, seconded by Mrs Nicholl, to grant a further extension until the August board, and to go through the convener at that time rather than bring the matter directly back to the board. Everybody happy with how I've worded that? In which case I'll move to the vote. If you indicate whether you're for the motion or amendment. Mrs Black.
Amendment.
Mr Crowson.
Motion.
Mrs Ewanson.
Motion.
Mr Goodall.
Amendment.
Mr Mason.
Amendment.
Mr Menard.
Motion.
Mrs Nicholl.
Amendment.
Mrs Smith is not present. Ms Sullivan.
Amendment.
And Mr Taylor. Mr Taylor.
Sorry, I was on mute and I voted the motion.
Thank you. So that is 4 votes for the motion, 5 votes for the amendment. So the amendment is carried. So that means, Mr Blacklaws, that further extension has been granted until the day of the August board, and we will write out to confirm that. And your next request for extension will go through the convener first before being brought to the board directly. Thank you for attending today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, thank you for your, well, this hearing is obviously now concluded. Thank you for your interest in this business today. I think we should have a break. We haven't stopped for a comfort break. So it's 11:44. If we break till 12 noon, is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Okay, and Mr Blacklaws, you can leave the meeting now. Okay, thank you. So we'll resume at 12 o'clock. So I think Miss Smith is still in the meeting as well.
I believe she is,
Yeah,
and I
I
also
am.
think that
Yeah,
Mr Smith is in the meeting as well.
So the recording and the live stream have also stopped. So we'll resume at 12 noon. Mr Goodall?
No, I thought we were